To all our members in Zimbabwe and all our colleagues, we really hope that you've had a blessed Easter weekend. But it's back to work now. Here in SAI, the core of our challenges are the influencing of policies. That's what we do every day. We do advocacy. But to try to influence policies, one needs to have policies. And when it comes to compensation in Zimbabwe, SAI has been very clear. Our policy stands on 3 legs. We want to push for just and equitable compensation. Along with it, we want to push for restitution where it is possible and where it is needed. And of course, we want to push for equal citizenship. There should be no reason why a farmer or a former farmer cannot farm in his own right without being forced into a joint venture on land which he or she owns. This is why we engage with the government of Zimbabwe, with other farmers' organizations, with embassies, and with foreign governments. Because to get what we want, we need some pressure on the government of Zimbabwe. It's not going to give us equal citizenship or restitution or even compensation, is it not for pressure? And that pressure can come from 3 sources. It can come from conviction, from internally, from in the circles of ZANU-PF itself. Those who hope for that will probably still hope for that in decades to come. We have never seen ZANU-PF actually indicating that from moral conviction they want to give just and equitable compensation, or that they see any meaning in restitution or in equal citizenship. Although over the last few months and year, some positive steps have been seen. For example, the change in the ID card system in Zimbabwe, where the number no longer needs to indicate your race group. Or that pressure can come internally from Zimbabwe, probably through the political process. But for that, you need a very strong opposition, which Zimbabwe at the moment does not have. And that leaves us with only the 3rd option, and that is pressure from outside, international pressure. At the moment, that pressure is coming from sanctions in the case of the USA and multilateral institutions such as the World Bank, the IMF. And it comes from trade restrictions. Now, in SAI, we do not really understand those farmers who have been calling for years now that that kind of pressure should come to an end. Because if there was no sanctions and if there was no trade restrictions, what incentive would the government of Zimbabwe have had to even negotiate with us, to even entertain the idea of just and equitable compensation or any compensation at all? More than that, how would one put pressure on the government in future if you do not have these pressure mechanisms? One can say, and some people do say, but there is an arrangement in place for compensation. There is the Global Compensation Deed. And that was already signed, 5-6 years ago. And still very little happened. Government did not keep to the Global Compensation Deed. And as far as our members are concerned, that agreement have now lapsed in any terms. we actually need to renegotiate such a deed. We need to renegotiate quantum, because surely the values of 2020 can no longer be acceptable. There is the time value of money that should also be considered, and it's not by any doing of the title deed holders that they've not been compensated yet. And even that has been challenged. There are those who would say, but government is now compensating us. Some farmers did receive just and equitable compensation, full compensation. The fact is that it's only those who were protected by a bilateral investment treaty, a BIPA, that received some compensation. Then, of course, there are also those farmers who signed up to the Profca deal or the bonds offer. Now, that offer entails that a farmer can put his name on the list, or an ex-title deed holder, and that farmer would get 1% of the value of his compensation, the compensation due to him in terms of the global compensation deed quantum. And along with it, a bond, a government-backed bond. It's actually a promise to be paid somewhere in future. Now, there are way too few title deed holders who simply do not trust that promise, who are saying, if a government can cancel title deeds, just imagine what they can do to bonds somewhere in the future. And this is why the large bulk of title deed holders have not signed up for the Profca deal. In any way, signing up for the Profca deal apparently also entails having to surrender your title deed at some stage. Exactly when is not clear. One of the SAI members, an elderly title deed holder, asked at the CFU conference of 2025, am I obliged to surrender my title deed, and at which stage? And of course, some of the Profca leaders were there, but they did not give him a clear answer. And until this day, we do not know how to answer that question. In the meantime, we are trying to influence the government in the United States, the Trump administration, to come to the party and assist us with a new dispensation. And this dispensation would entail a deal being made between the government of Zimbabwe and the government of the USA, the Trump administration. And in that deal, we hope that they would put some of the pressure off the government of Zimbabwe to allow for a loan of some kind from the World Bank, with the exclusive purpose of paying compensation, to make it possible for the government of Zimbabwe to enter the mainstream economy of the world again, to have access to the multilateral institutions such as the World Bank and the IMF again. Because one sits with a catch-22. Without that access, there will be no money to compensate farmers. And if farmers are not compensated, that access will not happen. But farmers fear that they might be cheated out of a just and equitable solution. That they might be paid not outside of Zimbabwe, but in Zimbabwe, and the next day their money might be worth nothing. Or that the money might disappear somewhere between the World Bank and their own pockets. Or that there might be all kinds of commissions and other distractions from the amount which they do not know of at this stage. So to influence the policies in the USA on this, we first needed to establish exactly what the latest policies are. And as they seem to be quite fluid at the moment, not yet stalled into a specific pattern, we partnered up with the Hudson Institute, a very reputable think tank in Washington, to have a policy discussion. And some of our own members, Rusty Markham and Dion Tron, took part as speakers in this webinar. Also some of the strongest policy influencers in the White House itself. And we had a very meaningful discussion in which most probably asked all the right questions and pushed all the right buttons. But from there, we now hope to facilitate a think tank discussion among some of the most influential people, both on our side and in Washington, to explore possible scenarios for the future. And this should happen within 2-3 weeks from now. And at the end of that, we hope to have gotten into the minds and the hearts of those who must decide on how policymakers in the White House will catch this Zimbabwean ball.